5 lights, and away we go. I think everybody got a decent start there.
That's an insane start from Kaushik. Exactly what he would have wanted.
Oh, RB Serrano, he just sneak onto the inside and he has to feed you.
Be able to salvage some points all the way down.
Eccentric sending down the inside on Oxygen, and Oxygen is coming back alongside. Putting his wheels, and he's side by side going around the outside. And I think he's got the move done. Yes, he has got the move. Oh, still there side by side, but it's got the inside line.
Oh, very good evening to everyone watching us and who have joined us today. We are back again after quite a break of 1.5 months from league racing here at IRC. And this time we have the new game with us, and we have also leagues in old game as well to be a bit more inclusive, to include a bit more drivers. But that's it for that will be the main motto of today's stream. Rather than that, is basically to reveal the grid, to tell you who will be your teammate if you are watching the stream and if you are actually signed up for the league, and who will be your co-partner in maybe getting you the constructor championship in the coming up season. But without further ado, let me just introduce you to my crewmate today in the comms box. At least I have Moto, who will be my co-commentator, and I have Sai Tarun, who is providing you this lovely stream for you today and helping us control the stream. So how are you doing, Moto today?
I'm doing just fine, Ropi. It's lovely to be here back again. It's great to be back after this long hiatus we have taken from this league racing, and the new game's also out. And yeah, hype is up, and we're just there to channel that hype further. And the grid reveal will soon, shortly begin, and we'll find out who's paired up with who. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some interesting pairings. And also, we should keep that theme of those meme pairings which we've seen before. We had Abhi and Baba and Black Sheep in one team. So I'm looking forward to this. Hype is up.
Yes, indeed. And I believe this is your first grid reveal with me. I have been there in almost all the grid reveals, but generally Eitzel was my partner. But today you have paired up with me. So are you excited for this motto?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just the hype is just palpable. I just can't wait to see like who's going to be the strong pairings, who's going to be some interesting pairings, some feisty ones where we have two very quick drivers in one team, or two drivers who are suited for qualifying mode. It's just the permutations are endless, and that's just what makes it more interesting. And we've got such a great community, and I'm pretty sure those guys are excited as well. So let's not keep them waiting, and let's start.
Yes, indeed. So, Sai, let's take us through the starting of the grid reveal with the drum load. First of all, we will definitely reveal you the order of what we are going to follow today. So, first, the grid reveal will be for Tier X, followed by the one tier that we will be running in the F1 2021 game, followed by Tier 2, and at last, the fastest tiers and the fastest boys that we have to offer the Tier 1 boys. Point to be noted, this season, the assist restrictions for Tier 1 have been changed to medium traction and ABS on, if I'm not wrong. So, and the team reveal order is written on the right side. So that's something that we will be following. But we will, see this as we are going through the grid reveal. Obviously, this time there is a twist that generally whenever I come into the grid reveal, I sort of know the teams because I am in the process of that team making. But this time I have been completely off the grid from the past 1 month. So it is going to be an interesting reaction from my side as well as Moto because we both are absolutely having no clue of what the pairing is gonna be. So without further delay, what say Moto? Let's start off with tier X.
Yep, let's go. Let's get it off.
Yes, Sai, let's start off. So, first of all, Tier X is our Xbox tier. For those of you who are joining us today and who are not known to the league structure here at IRC, these runs on Thursdays at 9 p.m. IST. Obviously, with crossplay coming soon in the future by Codemasters, hopefully we will be looking into merging this tier as well into our normal PC league. But for now, Tier X is a separate league with all the Xbox boys, and it will be held on Thursday, 9 p.m. But without further delay, drum roll please, we have our first pairing in the Ferrari. Okay, we start with the Williams. That's not a bad sign. So we start off with the Williams pairing of Prit Pro. If
I
I'm
think
not
it's Pre the Pro. That's what they call him, from what I've heard.
okay, so it's Pre the Pro. That's a very unique name, and Steel Sneeze. Okay, Steel Sneeze is one of our previous drivers. I've seen him race in our previous leagues as well. But Pre the Pro is one of the newer names that I am hearing. Any idea that you have on this?
No, I think he did race last season, and he's quite quick. So he's very quick, and he's got a really good racecraft as well. And
So-
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this pairing. And I don't know much on Steele's knees, but from what little I've heard, he's a fairly consistent driver. Might not have the outright pace to match the top boys in Tier X, but yeah, it looks like a very consistent team.
Yeah,
from
I
what I've
think
seen.
I think that Steel Sneeze will bring in the the consistency to the table, the experience and the expertise of league racing to the table. And Pre the Pro, as you are telling, he is a very quick driver. Maybe he will bring the pace to this team. But moving on to the next constructor, we have Ferrari, which I thought we would start off with, but now we are back at Ferrari. We have the pairing of Sam and Catty. So AJ Sam and Catty are pairing together as usual. Sam is, sort of like our the oldest member in Xbox community. I think he only kickstarted the Xbox community inside IRC. So he is paired with Catty, another one of the old drivers in this community. So this is going to be an interesting pairing. What do you think, Moto?
Yeah, Sam, he's not only like he's quick started the community, but he's done quite a lot for the community as well. And he's a very sensible driver, like chooses when to pick his battles, and he does drive in cockpit pit mode, I think, from what I remember. I'm not quite sure if I'm right or not. So that just adds to how much how much what do you call practice that he's putting in to stay up on top. Catty, from what I remember from last season, he put this outrageous move in China where he had sent it all the way back from around 100 meters back. So yeah, he's known to be a very, very quick driver and very good racecraft as well. Very feisty driver he is, and yeah, it looks like a very good pairing. I'm kind of excited for this one.
Yes, indeed. So let's move on to the next pairing of what constructor it's going to be. It's going to be the Alpines with the pink and the blue mix of Clone Troop and Haphazard King. Haphazard King, I think, joined us in the last season, but was there for throughout the season. And Clone Troop is a new name that I'm hearing in this league. So any thoughts on this, Moto?
Yeah, I think Clone Troop is a new name. Even I haven't heard from him that much. And Haphazard King, I think as you said, he mentioned he joined last season. So we haven't seen much of him. From what I can recall, that he was sort of a top midfield driver, but not very quick outright in pace. But maybe this game is a completely different, experience compared to the last one in terms of handling and all. So you never know who's going to be quick now and who's going to drop back in pace now. So yeah,
Yes,
looking
indeed.
forward to see this one as well.
Yes, indeed. So that's a small analysis of the game to you guys from Moto. Obviously, he definitely has way more experience on the new game than me. I have barely played an hour on this game. So he will be giving into the insights of the current game compared to the previous game. But moving on to the next constructor, we do have the pairing of Simply YT and Mist in the Mercedes. Mercedes in real life slacking a bit, but maybe this pairing will be the one that is not slacking. We already know that Simply YT has won Tier X championship in the past. I think it was
Yeah.
previous to previous season, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, he has made it very clear that he had won previous to previous season, and he's a very quick driver. A good race craft is, I think, his race pace is his best asset from what I remember. And Miss, I think I've not heard of his name before. So another driver paired, a new driver paired with a very experienced driver. So I think that seems to be a pattern so far in Tier X, where we've had new drivers paired with veterans of the tier. So yeah, maybe it's to make sure that the veteran can help the new one with what to teach them about the game and how to be consistent. And I think it's a good decision taken by the coordinators.
Yeah, definitely a brilliant decision taken up by the coordinators to, give sort of a learning opportunity for the second driver. But let's see if we have any more pairings in Tier X. Moving forward, we do have the pairing of Rahul, who is not actually pairing a solo driver in AlphaTauri. Rahul taking the charge of AlphaTauri and maybe hoping that a teammate will join him down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. That AlphaTauri is too beautiful to pass out on. So I'm pretty sure he's going to find a teammate very soon. But
Yes,
I have I don't know much about Rahul, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does with this car, because I absolutely love this car.
yes.
If I can see it on the top step, then I'll be very happy. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. So I think that concludes the Tier X grid reveal. Obviously, we have a small number this season because obviously Tier X is being hosted on the F122 game. And considering that it's a bit, on the expensive side, maybe, or on the almost the same price but less player base, so people are yet to migrate to F1 2022. But we will soon see the numbers going up as the sale is coming down, in the next 1 or 2 months. So then we will see more drivers coming in, and that's why we have the vacant seats. But without further delay, let's just go to tier 2021, whose grid reveal is up next. So moving
Just
on to
one
tier
thing to
2021,
note,
we will.
Propi, that before we move on, sorry to interrupt there. This is actually going to be probably the last Tier X you'll have in IRC, because crossplay, as we know, is coming soon. So yeah, it's going to be interesting as to how the season is going to proceed in that tier.
Yes, and then I did see some of the people telling that watch tier for tier X and all. Well, they will have a
I
chance to
disagree.
get back to you.
I commentated for
Exactly.
Silverstone. Yeah, I commentated for Silverstone last season, and that was one of the best races I've ever seen and commentated on. So Tier X does have its own masala that no one should take away from Tier X.
Exactly. So that was my point. So whoever told that in the comments, be ready to watch out when those boys are actually battling with you. And if they are leaving you in the dust, then probably this is the comment that they will come back to. But anyways, moving on to tier 2021. A change of timings that we are seeing here. It will be held on Fridays night at 9 p.m. We have kept it a bit late so that people who are working or who are having their daily chores can finish them and get back to racing towards the end of the night. But we have moved tier 2021 from the weekends to Friday 9 p.m. IST. Obviously we will be starting off with the grid reveal, I guess. Yes, we should. So
Yeah.
Sai, let's go through the grid. I think we should start with Haas here. Yes, and it is the Haas pairing of Mighty Owl and Ender Days. So both of them have been racing with us in the previous seasons as well. Can't say much about them. Basically, both are almost, this will be sort of a pattern that we see in tier 2021, almost equal pace or a bit of a difference in experience. That is what will be counting into the into between among the two drivers. So, Moto, what do you have to say about this pairing?
Again, Propi, I don't have that much, but I think Ender Days, from whatever conversations I had with him, I think he not recently, but he had moved to wheel from pad. So a bit of a change in terms of adaptability is going to be like visible in the season. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this pairing plays out. And Mighty Owl, I think he's been a veteran in the F1 league. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, Mighty Owl has been racing with us for a long time, and hopefully, the wheel switch for Ender Days comes as a good sight. But moving on to the next constructor, we have the pairing of Eric Griffin and Blaze in the McLaren in that orange papaya. Eric Griffin again, showing his pace in the last season. He was up there among the top contenders. Maybe a bit more to learn, but he has drastically improved in the last season compared to the previous seasons. That's what we had observed. And Blaze, as usual, has been blazing across the field, I should say. But any comments on this, Motomoto, on this pairing?
Yeah, Eric Griffin's going to be a very quick driver, a bit too aggressive at times from what we've seen, but yeah, it doesn't matter. If you can channel that aggression into pace, then it works out well for him at the end of the day.
Yes.
Blaze, I think he'd won a race last season in Tier 3. It was, I think, Saudi, and he showed great pace in that and very good tire management. So if you can just replicate that on other tracks, which is not that easy, it's going to be a good season for him. So yeah, a very strong pairing here, actually.
Yeah, obviously, most of the drivers definitely have a favorite track and a not so favorite track. So they have to majorly concentrate on that not so favorite track to get the best out of it. But let's move on to the next pairing. The next pairing is of the pairing of Karthik Sub and Ink. Karthik Sub is a new name that I am hearing. Ink is basically an old veteran of this community, obviously one of our coordinators as well here at IRC. So an experienced driver is being paired with Karthik Sub, whom I am not sure is is a very experienced driver. Now, I might be wrong on that, but they are paired in Aston Martin, and I'm pretty sure Ink is gonna be passing on some knowledge, some gain, some gyan about the league racing scene in the Aston Martin cockpit.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ink is one of the fastest. He became one of the fastest drivers in Tier 3 by the end of the last season. And it's not going to be a surprise as to. I think this team Ink might win the WDC this season if he takes it, if he's going to be on pace on all the tracks, because he's very quick and yeah, it's going to be an interesting pair.
Yes, indeed. So that's a few words from Moto. But let's move on to the next pairing. The next pairing is of in the Ferrari, we have Vav and Baked Potato. I've heard Baked Potato before, but I haven't seen him race much with us, if I'm not wrong. But Vav has raced with us in the last season, and he had shown that he can be sort of middle to top of the field there. So maybe this can also be a very interesting pairing. What do you have to say, Moto?
Yeah, two drivers who are both equal on pace, I'm assuming. And Weber was in Tier 4, if I'm not wrong. I can't quite remember right now.
That is correct.
Yeah, and yeah, he was decently quick in that. So it'll be interesting to see if what jump he's made. Because there are some Tier 3 drivers from last season in this grid. So it's going to be interesting to see how he pairs against them.
Yes, definitely. In the chat, Ink is already spilling out beans for Tier 1, I believe. Envy and Wilster say hello for WTC. I hope it's not true. Otherwise, your position as a coordinator might be at risk here at IRC. But we'll ignore it and we will move on to the next pairing in Tier 2021. The next pairing is of the constructor in Alpine. So that is the pairing of Saurav Pat and Dark Knight. So again, Dark Knight, we met him personally in our past, IRC meetups that have been happening in the past 2 or 3 months. The fiscal meetup that you can say, the real life meet that you can say that we are having. And obviously, he seems like a nice guy. And on the track, we have already seen him. I believe he was in Aston Martin last season. If I'm not wrong. And he showed really good pace there. And Saurabh Pat, as usual, one of our old drivers, past 2 or 3 seasons, he has been with us. I think 1.5 or 2 seasons he has been with us. So again, both of them bringing sort of equal amount of experience or capability, driving capabilities to the table. So it will be an interesting combo. What do you say?
Yeah, Dark Knight is known to be very sensible and keeps a cool head about his racecraft. And Saurabh Pat's very quick. I think he was one of the top drivers in Tier 3. had a lot of pace, but just got caught up in a few incidents. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pairs up because two very quick and consistent drivers, and yeah, another team which is has a good shot at the WCC, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. So moving on, I do have ink confirming that they are still on 2021, the pairing of Envy and Wilster. So if that pairing is still true, you are sort of leaking it before it is supposed to be shown. So it's still your fault. Okay, moving on to the next pairing. So the next pairing is in the Mercedes of Wilster G and ABD. So Inc. has saved his position as a coordinator by giving false information. That is something that we can tolerate. Anyways, so we have the pairing of Wilster G and ABD. ABD, I met him like 3 days back. So definitely ABD is going to be one of the, obviously another coordinator from our community, will be coordinating mostly either this tier or some other tier, but he has definitely shown that he has some capabilities in racing on the field. And Wilster G, we all know he's a tier 1 driver from last season. Obviously, he has still not yet moved to next game, that is the F1 2022. Maybe in the future he will be moving on to F1 2022, but for now he is sticking to F1 2021, and this pairing looks really tight because Wilster will bring the experience to the table and ABD is there to catch on to that experience and learn from him and get some points for WDC. What do you say?
Yeah, being a tier 1 driver from last season is going to give that team an entire huge boost. And ABD will have a lot to learn from Wilster. It's going to be interesting to see how this team evolves over the course of the season. And yeah, Wilster, another top candidate for the WDC, I think.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, like as you said, this can be a very good competition team for the WCC as well. So moving on to the next constructor, we have the pairing of Abhi and Sai Tarun. The Sai Tarun, our streamer here itself, gets to know his teammates in the VC right now. So Abhi is being paired with Sai Tarun. Again, Abhi, our tier 2 driver from last season, is being paired with Sai Tarun, who raced with us. I think for the first time in the last season, he raced with us, even though he has been in this community from the past couple of seasons, but he never got the chance to race with her. But yeah, Sai Tarun did show that he has the pace. Something that he lacks is a bit of consistency, but I'm pretty sure with Abhi, he's going to learn that. And this also can be a great challenge for WCC.
Yeah, absolutely. Another team which is very strong and will probably become even stronger over the course of the season. And yeah, Abhi is very quick, and Sai has good pace on certain tracks. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these guys battle it out against the rest of the field.
Definitely. Let's move on to the next pairing. We have the pairing of Rajesh and Fuzzy Dunlop. Okay. Yeah. Fuzzy Dunlop in the Alfa Romeo. So Rajesh was there with us in the last season. I believe he was in tier 4, if I'm not wrong. And I think Fuzzy Dunlop is someone new who has joined in. So I am pretty sure that this pairing has been made so that Rajesh has been with us for 2 seasons, if I'm not wrong. So Rajesh can pass on his knowledge, his learnings about the racing and league racing to Fuzzy Dunlop. I might be wrong here. Motor, do you have any idea on that?
No, Bropy, I actually also have no clue. But yeah, it seems that this team is going to be sort of a midfield team. And again, if Rajesh has been participating for 2 years, we're going to see that pattern of the veteran teaching the new. And it'll be nice to see how they grow.
Yes, definitely. And a couple of people are waiting for their name to come up on the screen. Just hold on, your name will be there. Someplace it will be there. So you have to still wait for your name to come. But anyways, moving on to the next constructor. We have the pairing of AV and Deadshot in the Alpha Tauri. So NV, again, one of our tier 1 drivers, he has not moved on to tier 2022 yet, but hopefully he will be. On that point, I would like to remind all our viewers or everyone who is watching from the community that this will be our last season in the 2021 game. next season, that will be probably around the month of December to Jan, we will be completely moving on to the F1 2022. So we are following that same principle. Odd seasons follow. We will keep one tier of the old game, and in even seasons we completely run on the new. So that's what we will be following this season as well. And AVNV and Deadshot are paired together again. AVNV can be a very strong competitor here in this field. I'm not sure about Deadshot, but Deadshot has a lot to learn from AVNV, and maybe Deadshot can come up in this season like a rising star. No one knows. What do you have to say, Moto?
Yeah, very decent pairing, and Envy is very quick, but I think he's also moved to wheel recently, so we might be
Okay.
seeing a bit of a growth spurt throughout the season. So yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next pairing, we have the pairing of Turbo Chuk and Mr. Rout. So I believe Turbo Chuk is a newcomer in this in our league racing scene, but Mr. Rout has raced with us in the previous season. But looking at one driver being placed on the left, we have been seeing the quicker drivers being placed on the left. So I believe Turbo Chuk did submit a very quick time in the time trial sign up that we had. So I think we can see something come out of a new guy. What do you have to say?
Yeah, again, I think Turbochuk is new, and now again, he's only done one season from what I remember, and he was decently on the top of the midfield, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, another pairing where the veteran teaches the new, and it seems to be a recurring theme, and I'm kind of glad the coordinators have stuck to this pattern. It's going to be an exciting season.
Yes, definitely. With that, we come to the end of our tier 2021 signups. There are a couple of people who are asking why their name didn't come up. Maybe you are in one of the reserves list. I'm not sure how the pairing was decided. Cannot give you more information on that, but I'm pretty sure it's based on your signups and your past season or your eval race performance that we were organizing in the past few days. But fret not, even if you are a reserve, we generally don't have a full grid because not all the 20 drivers can commit to a full race every week, so you will definitely be getting a chance to race. Obviously, more information about exactly who are reserves and who are in the team, you will again get to refer from the F1 League info. We will be updating that soon as this stream is over, so don't worry, you will be getting more information. And if you have any issues with the pairing, or if you have any doubts, you will be told the coordinators for each of the tiers whom you can reach out to in the future as well for any doubt clarification. But for now, that's all for F1 for the tier 2021 league. I hope everyone's name came in this list. But let's move on to tier 2022, which is the new game, and this will be the tier 2 that we will be discussing right now. This will be happening on Sundays at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Again, the afternoon slot before was given to tier 3, which has been moved to Friday, but now tier 2 has taken that slot, and we will be having tier 2 racing in the afternoon in the F1 2022 game. So let's talk about the game itself, Moto. Can you give some idea about the new game for maybe motivating the 2021 people to come to 2022? Anything that you have to say, Moto?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. In terms of like drivability of the cars, they're just more satisfying when you nail your lap or when you nail your race stint. There's a lot more factors acting as well. Like the tire blankets had been, the temperatures had been reduced in real life, so that's been followed on to the game as well. So now each time you exit the pits, you're on ice cold tires and you're forced to battle with someone behind you, even though you're on the fresh tires. So just the all these intricate details and the new handling, the traction, the way the traction works, I think it's just a lovely change. I'm kind of being like optimistic about this. I'm probably in the minority when I think it's a better game than last year.
Yes,
But
definitely.
yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it, and yeah, it's just way more satisfying when you
And
nail
I'm
your
pretty
lap.
sure, yeah, and I'm pretty sure there are way like lot less bugs in 2022 compared to 2021.
In online, yes, but in offline, I wouldn't say so. But yeah, online is quite bulletproof so far. Little bugs here and
Yes.
there, but yeah.
And obviously, there is an advantage of a cheaper game, which is F1 2022, which is, I think, 500 to 600 launch date price cheaper than the F1 2021. And obviously, coming to the crossplay, which will soon be coming. Obviously, it will make our life easier and the community even bigger with more drivers
Absolutely.
coming in from Xbox as well as PS4. So at that point, we are expecting like 5 or 6 or even more tiers. So if you want some fun racing, you have still a couple of months to buy the game and wait for the game to go on sale. But let's go back to the grid reveal with this short break. We are with tier 2. Let's start off with our first pairing in the Alpha. Oh, I forgot. In the Haas. Yes, in the Haas of. We have the pairing of AJ and Pirate SG. Not sure if Pirate SG has raced with us before, but he's definitely one of the newcomers, and he will be getting all the experience from AJ. Any comments on this, Moto? On this
I
pairing?
have very little knowledge on any of these drivers. So, from what I can imagine, is probably there'll be a midfield, sort of more bottom midfield, top midfield drivers. So, yeah, just that lack of knowledge is going to make it more interesting to see how they do it. Yeah, they might surprise everyone. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed. We'll see what this pairing can do. But moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing in the McLaren, that is the papaya orange color. We have the pairing of Anish Monterio and Monk. Monk has been there with us since season 4 or 5. I cannot even recall for how long he has been with us. And Anish Monterio joined us last season in our tier 1 seat. So this is going to be a very strong pairing in tier 2. So if you are in tier 2 and if you're a driver there, look out for these guys because they are going to be a good challenge to you. What do you have to say?
Yeah, Anish is very consistent, and believe it or not, he managed to get go through Mexico, I think, of last season without a single on track warning, off track warning. So, just in that in itself can cut so much of the pace deficit he may have compared to the rest, but I don't think he will because he's also very quick and just consistently fast. And Monk, as you said, is a veteran of not only the league but also the community. So it's going to be fun to see how these two drivers uh, uh, face up against the rest of the grid. So yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And we do have a couple of people in the chat. They are asking Slaya, who is also in the chat, why he did not register for this season. And one of the people obviously pointing out how his last season went on, and Slaya bragging that he has left his spot for someone else to become WDC. We'll see that. But moving on to the next constructor pairing. So we have the pairing in the Aston Martin of BK19 and Geethan Samuel. So again, Geethan Samuel, I believe, was in tier 4 with us in the last season. BK19 in tier 2. I think BK19 was in Aston Martin itself. Or am I wrong?
No, I think he was in the Alpha Tauri, and
Yeah, I might
yeah.
be Alpha Tauri. Yes. So, anyways, BK19 racing with us for past 3-4 seasons. We have seen that he has the pace. Some things that he might need to work on might be either consistency or the racecraft, which is preventing him currently to getting that podium every race. But I'm pretty sure Geethan Samuel is paired with him. Geethan Samuel was up there in tier 4 last season. So this is sort of a good pairing, a mixture of the top of tier 2 and the top of tier 4. Obviously, people might have evolved in the next game or throughout the last season. So we cannot exactly compare 1-to-1 since this is a new game. So we will have a lot of cards that will be unfolded as we start the season. That is this weekend, that is tomorrow from the tier X race. Day after tomorrow, that is with the tier X race. So moving on to the next constructor pairing, we have the pairing of Shawshank and Heisenberg in the Ferrari. So Heisenberg again racing with us from the past couple of seasons. Shashank also, I think, joined us in the last season. But again, both of these sort of in the middle field of their tiers, and this can be also a good pairing. to deal with. What do you have to say, Moto? Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think Heisenberg's only been there for one season with us, and from what I remember, he was incredibly smart when it came to racing in terms of strategy and in terms of driving as well. He knew when to pick his battles, and yeah, he also race engineered for me for one race, and it was nice having him behind him. So yeah, a very respectful driver in terms of racecraft, and Shawshank as well. Kay joined us last season, and he was also up there. He had the pace, but had some issues with the game, so he couldn't quite keep it on pace with everyone else as the season progressed. But yeah, a very very interesting pairing, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Yes, definitely. I have been corrected that I said in the previous slide that Geetan Samuel was tier 4, but actually he was in tier 3 in the last season. So let me correct myself. He was a driver of tier 3 in the previous season. But moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing of Swatcat and Ritesh. 9350 so I will just call him Ritesh in the Alpine. So again, I think Swatcat has been racing with us in the past season, and Ritesh, there are multiple Ritesh, so now I'm confused which Ritesh are we referring to, and I'm not sure if he is a newcomer in our league or if he has raced with us. So if you have raced with us, then you would know something about league racing here at IRC. If you have not, you have a buddy to learn things off from. Obviously, coordinators are there to help you start off with league racing, and hopefully you both have a good race in this year. Let's move on to the next pairing. The next pairing is of the in the Mercedes we have Joshiro and Abhi. So again, Abhi 20 being a tier 2 driver in the previous season, and obviously I think even in the previous season he was in tier 2. I still remember him competing up for the podium positions in Vietnam track, if I'm not wrong. But anyways, Abhi 20 is back again in tier 2, and maybe this time he will get the WDC, or at least in the top 3 of WDC. And Joseph Hero again, not remembering his name, I think he was a newcomer in the last season. Moto, any idea?
I'm not too sure myself. I think he's a brand new driver. I don't think he's raced with us before.
Yes, that's what even
Yeah.
I was thinking. But anyways, best of luck to you. You have a lot to learn from Abhi 20, who is there to guide you. Obviously, a very nice guy, Abhi 20. Met him personally, and he is a great, partner to have in races. Obviously, half the race is won if you have a great partner with you to help you in your racing and to be supportive there. But moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing of Duke and Sager in Red Bull. Again, Sager racing with us. I think he raced with us 2 or 3 seasons back and then left and then again came back, if I'm not wrong. And Duke, I think he joined us last season, if I'm not wrong, towards the end or towards the mid. So correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, this also seems to be a good pairing of tier 2. Maybe both of them being in the midfield might combine and bring up a better combination for the WCC. Obviously, I haven't seen the time trial times that these people have submitted. Maybe they completely did a U-turn in the new game and are showing off some really good pace, and that's why they have been paired together like this. Anyways, any comments from you, Moto, or shall we move ahead?
Not much, no, but yeah, both of them are relatively new drivers, and yeah, same comment as last time. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and yeah, I think we should move on.
Yes, and our streamer is exciting Logesh in the chat because his name has not come up, I think. So, and Logesh is also getting excited for that. But anyways, moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing of. Okay, that's a big name. Oh, that's Divyansh Kaushik and Mahmuka Admi. Okay, that's a new name that I am hearing for sure, because that kind of unique name won't go out of my eyes. But yeah, these two have been paired together in the Alfa Romeo seat. Again, Divyansh Kaushik racing with us in the previous season, if I'm not wrong, and showing some good racecraft and some good racing there. So he will be a good mentor to Mamu there in the second stint. So this time Mamu is gonna be taught by someone else. Anyways, let's move on to the next pairing. We have the
I think
pairing.
this is a meme pairing for the season, maybe.
Yes, I think this is the meme pairing for tier 2 here. Just so that we can have some word play here. But anyways, moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing of Face Crack and Maverick Loki. Again, completely new pairing, if I'm not wrong. I haven't heard Face Crack. I haven't heard Maverick Loki. Face Crack, I don't know what went through your face when you made that team. But I hope that your face doesn't crack when you are under pressure behind from other drivers in our league race. So best of luck to both of you, and hopefully we see something come out extraordinary from this group. Moving on to the next pairing, we have the pairing of Sentidi. Should I call him?
Strendy.
Okay, Strendy and Coop Jab. Okay.
Some
now
interesting
we are
names coming up here. And
all the interesting names are saved for the end, guys. Here, so both of these people are in the Williams. Obviously, seems like a new pairing, and I'm pretty sure there is a reason for this pairing, which we are not aware of. Coordinators will be. So I can see that it can be something to do with one of you showing very good pace here, and we can be completely mind blown in the first race, even though you are a newcomer to our league racing scene. Best of luck to you guys also. That calls for the end of tier 2 grid reveal. So for people whose names have not come up yet, and who have registered for F1 2022 are either thinking that they are in 2021 or they are losing their mind thinking that maybe they are not at all in the list. But fret not, we will soon go to tier 2021. Let's go, and we will be revealing the grid for tier 2021, starting off by telling what and when will the tier 2021 tier 2022 tier 1 will be held.
I was going to wait for you to call. I was going to call you out on that, but you were just in a flow, so didn't want to disrupt that.
I was too much in the flow that I forgot that it's tier 2022 tier 1. So
it's a mouthful,
yes.
That's for sure.
Yes, definitely. So from now on, if I'm telling tier 1, it's it's for F1 2022. Let's move on to tier 1 grid reveal. Sahil, take us through. So we have tier 1 on Sundays at 8 p.m. IST, the fastest grid that we can form with the signups that we had for this season. Obviously, this is where the majority of the fast times will be set on. Obviously, nothing to say about tier 2 because last season tier 3 was absolute mad in terms of racing, racecraft, and side-by-side battles. So you can never say which tier will give us the most entertainment, but the fastest times will come from this tier. So obviously, this tier is going to be held on Sundays at 8 p.m. Moving on, starting with the first pairing in the Haas, we have the pairing of the SSJ Assassin and Streeter. So SSJ, who is our stream team leader, you can say, has been promoted from tier 2 to tier 1. Actually, he has been promoted from tier 3 to tier 2 in the last season, and this season from tier 2 to tier 1. So constant progression. After this season, maybe he will be in tier 0. Which is the fastest of drivers. Tier Dan indeed.
Yes.
So he is in the Haas with Streeter. Streeter again, probably from season 1 here at IRC, so don't need words to say anything. But I think Streeter wanted Aston Martin, if I'm not wrong, he was telling before, and I think he will not be happy with Haas. But I think he has put Haas as a second or third preference. So it's still good. But anyways, this is the pairing that we have to look for. Moto, your comments on it.
Yeah. Dan is one of he was the fastest in tier 2, I think, in terms of raw pace, in terms of overlap as well. And now he's in tier 1. He's up with the big boys. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he does. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing very well. I think consistent top 5s are in play here. And Streeter back to tier 1 again. I think last time was from season 5, if I'm not wrong. But he did a few races on and off, but not doing all of them through the season. So yeah, it's good to see Streeter back in tier 1. And
definitely. Already, Streeter has commented, why is he in the white tractor? Well, my friend, this tractor is going to win you races in the next season, so you have to deal with it.
It's not a tractor anymore.
Yes, definitely. It's no more at the back of the field for sure. But yeah, Dan, again, being called, he has a nickname here because we met him in real life, the sexiest man in IRC. So that's what the chat is calling him out for. But moving on to the next pairing, let's not spend all our time on the first pairing. So we have Eitzel and Babaji in the orange papaya. Babaji again returning back with Eitzel this time. Eitzel has I think Eitzel started last season itself in F1, if I'm not wrong. Before that, he was in ACC, but now he is in Tier 1 again, racing with Babaji this time. Hopefully, Babaji, who obviously we know has been with us from the past a lot more seasons, like some 5 or 6 seasons he has been here. I think probably season 2 or season 3 he joined us, and till now he is there. And obviously, he will be bringing in the experience. And Eitzel being a new driver, but obviously a quick one to that. So he will be a quick learner, and this pairing can also be the one to look out for. Comments, Moto?
Yeah, a very interesting pairing here because both of them have a lot to learn from each other. Baba, who's very knowledgeable on not only F1, on most sims as well, and Eitzel, who has that raw pace in him. Very consistent over the race as well. Just getting a bit too keen on the track limits is one thing he does, but yeah, he's got the pace there, and when he does put in the time, he's up there. So yeah, very interesting pairing here, and we're going to be looking forward to them this season.
Yes, definitely. So the pairings are becoming interesting as we are going through. But let's move on to the next pairing. The next pairing is of the constructor that we are going to see. The next is of Aston Martin, and we have the pairing of Shivam 878. I will just call you Shivam and Violent Gandhi. Violent Gandhi is never leaving Aston Martin behind him. I think I saw him in Aston Martin. I think 1 or 2 seasons back, and he is still there in Aston Martin this season. Again, I have raced with this man, and this man has the pace to race. Obviously, in F1 2022, it can be a completely different game, but based on the past experience, this is the man to race with. And Shivam is also there, partnering with him. He doesn't have Tier 1 experience, but Violent Gandhi is there to provide him with that, and we can see a good fight coming out of this constructor. What do you have to say on this, Moto?
Yeah, I met Gandhi in person, and he's a very nice, very chill dude. So yeah, and on track also he's very feisty as well if he puts in the time. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to guide Shivam throughout the season, and looking forward to this pairing as well. Very good battles I think I've had with Gandhi before. So yeah.
Yes, definitely. So we'll look out for this constructor, what they do, and can we see a rise of the Astons again. But anyways, let's move on to the next pairing. We are done with 3, 7 more to go. So let's move on to the next one. Next, we have the pair RB Farello and Aditya in the prancing horse. So RB being promoted from Tier 2 to Tier 1 finally will be racing this season in Tier 1, and Aditya is there to accompany him. Aditya obviously having the experience of Tier 1 racing from the past couple of seasons. RB already dominating Tier 2 in the past season for most of the races, but this is going to be an interesting pairing to look out for. RB is going to bring in the pace, Aditya is going to bring in the experience. Comments more.
I think it's going to be the other way around. I think RB's been racing for far too long.
Yeah, that is also
as
true.
I can remember, yeah. And RB, there's a reason everyone calls him race merchant, because he just turns a bad qualifying. He can turn that into a top 3 in a blink of an eye. He's just got very good racecraft. He knows when to pick his battles, and his tire management is also very decent. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this pairing does. Aditya, I think he did a couple of races last season. Then he got busy with things in life. So, and he did lose some pace after he made the switch from pad to wheel. But he's got that back now. And yeah, both of them are wheel users, and both of them are sort of equal on pace, I think. So
yeah,
it's
I
very
would say so.
closely matched team, and both of them have very good racecraft as well.
Yes, definitely. So I think out of the two, I think both of them are equal on pace almost, but RB definitely has better consistency in terms of not getting penalties and keeping it on track compared to Aditya. So Aditya can learn few things from RB and RB can learn few things from Aditya. Meanwhile, a couple of people in the chat are telling RB Ferrello already has RB in the name, but I think he has been getting Red Bull from the past 2 seasons. So this was about the time when the coordinators cut it and they have given him finally Ferrari. And some people are telling to change his name from RB Ferrello to RB Ferrari. So
I am +1 on that. That is a very good idea.
yes, indeed.
If RB is watching, he should do that ASAP.
So we will have a RB Ferrari next season. But yeah, moving on to the next pairing. We have the pairing of Star Max Lord and Alphabot in Alpine. Alphabot finally being promoted to Tier 1 as well. Star Max Lord obviously raced with us in the last season, did show really good pace towards the end of the season as the seasons progressed. He did lack a bit of consistency here and there, a bit of racecraft, which I am pretty sure he can polish it off in this season. And Alphabot, who has been moved from Tier 2 to Tier 1 this season, he is one of the persons who have been moved from 3 to 2, Tier 3 to Tier 2 in the last season and 2 to 1 in this season. So obviously a progress coming from him as well. Obviously Alphabot has the pace, we all know that, but he also needs to learn on the racecraft and the consistency aspect of the racing. Comments, Moto?
Yeah, another very decent pairing. Star Max, he made the shift from Xbox to PC. So he had a slow start to the season, but yeah, he did certainly put on gained a lot of lap time, or lost rather in F1. You lose lap time when you get faster, but yeah, he did improve in his consistency and he did improve his racecraft as well. So yeah, Alphabot can certainly learn from Star Max here, and it's going to be an interesting pairing because I think if they put in the practice, both of them are relatively equal on pace.
Yes, definitely. We are already halfway into the Tier 1 grid reveals. Only 5 teams left. That means only 10 drivers are going to get a permanent seat. So the tension is hyping up in the chat. I can see already Logesh comments being made because everyone is expecting him to be in a seat. But moving on to the next constructor, that is the Mercedes constructor. And that's the pairing of Faizan and Logesh. So there's Logesh that we all were waiting for. And he is being paired with Faizan this season. Faizan making a comeback to Tier 1 again this season, and this time he is being paired with Logesh. Logesh being one of the fastest drivers in Tier 3, if I'm not wrong. Obviously, they formed a very good bond there in Tier 3, you know. All these people, Link, AVD, Neon, Logesh, Saitharun. Like, Tier 3 was like a family last season. So that's why his families were cheering up for him in the
Let's not forget he won the WDC as well.
Yes,
that
definitely.
As well. So there was some hype about location. As to the pairing, so Propi, I think you've been off the grid for a while, so you don't know. Faizan has decent, like I wouldn't even say decent. He has top pace here in this new game.
Okay.
He's probably up there with the top runners of last season. So if you were to think that Logesh would easily outpace Faizan, it's going to be very hard. And not to put away from Logesh as well, he's also rapid when he can put in the time and effort as well. And both of these guys are extremely quick, and it's going to be interesting to see how this season progresses. And Faizan is going to be a bit eccentric on track. Even though we don't have eccentric on the grid, we still have him in a way.
Yes.
So Faizan will be up there. I can promise you that in this season. So yeah, a good team to look forward to.
Yes, definitely. And a couple of people are already giving name to this pairing. Bhaijan and Logi, what is that? Logitech. Gonna be the name.
Well, both of them do use the same Logitech wheels. So
yeah, that explains it. But anyways, I am excited to see Faizan on the track though. Based on what you have told me, I am expecting to see a lot of racing coming out from him. But let's move on to the next constructor. The next constructor we have the pairing of Aditya Gupta and Akash Sonavle in the Red Bull seat there. So Aradhya Gupta, sorry, did I say Aditya Gupta?
Yes, you did.
So Aditya Gupta and Akash Sonavle in the Red Bull seat. Again, a very strong pairing. Akash Sonavle last season was there in the middle field of Tier 1 and was showing some really good pace. Just really good pace. One thing that this man has is good racecraft and clean racing experience that he can have. And Aradhya Gupta, obviously, we know him from last season. He was there up towards the top of the timing sheets every time in the quali and even in the race many a times on the podium. What comments do you have on this motto?
Yeah, Anadia was a championship contender the last season, up till the last race. So he's certainly up there in terms of raw pace. And Akash, he didn't start out slow, but then he started picking up consistent podiums all the way throughout. So a very, very strong pairing. Another one, we had so many strong pairings in Tier 1 already, and this just adds to that basket. And yeah, in the RB, I think they have a good shot at the WCC if they can both keep it consistent, which I think they will.
That is true. That is definitely true. So this is also going to be an interesting pairing, especially considering all the teams till now that we have talked about are sort of seeming like equal in pace when you combine both of them. So constructor battle is going to be the thing to watch out for in Tier 1. But let's move on to the next pairing. The next pairing is for Alfa Romeo, and that's the pairing of Helium and Russell. Helium obviously moving on to no assist in the last season, but this time he is being paired with Russell. Russell, one of our oldest members in this community from season 1, season 2. I'm not sure that back since when he has been with us, but he has come back in the last season, and now he's here paired with Helium, one of the fastest drivers that we have on the grid currently, and they both will be going in the Alfa Romeo. What do you think about this pairing, Mato?
Yeah, I'm calling it now. This is probably the strongest pairing on the grid. Both of them are absolutely on top on this game. Russell is probably a bit faster than Helium, I'd say, in terms of qualifying pace. And race pace, I think they're both evenly matched. So, yeah, probably the team which is going to win both the WCC and DC because, yeah, this is a very, very strong pairing.
So everyone is telling that this is the most OP team in the chat as well, and people are telling to say to give them the WCC already. But you never know. You never know. Helium is the quickest. That is true, but he can do some mistakes if he is in a battle, and that can end up him not finishing the race. Same goes for Russell. Russell is not that quick. He does have the consistency, so it's like a mix and match of both of them, you know.
Yes, yeah, both of them. Russell did very few races in the last season, so he's still got some time away from league racing. So maybe that could factor in. That could be his sort of a weak link in this team. But yeah, still outright pace, they're up there, and yeah, going to make the season very interesting. Or very boring.
We'll see on the first race that we are having. Obviously, a lot of people are calling out this this pairing to be a very one-sided pairing. You all can be proven wrong in the first race itself. So let's wait. Let's not jump guns. Moving on to the next pairing. We have the pairing in the Alpha Tauri of Moto, yourself and General Pepe with you. Moto, I'm going to ask you the reaction from yourself itself about this. Tell me, what do you think about this pairing?
I'm just happy I got the Alpha Tauri, man.
So you were okay with any driver with you as long as you were in the Alpha Tauri, right?
Yes, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
I did see you mute in Discord and go. Did you go to do a quick yes kind of a thing in the background? That's why you muted.
I did that internally. I just muted because I was coughing in the background. But yes, I did do that internally. Yes.
Okay, but enough about Moto. He has been paired with General Pepe, who is making a comeback to this community after a break of around 2 to 3 seasons from here. And again, while he was here, that was the time when I joined this community, and that time I knew that this man had the pace. He was fighting up there with Mara that time in those racing, and right now he is being paired with Moto. So obviously Moto, we know that you are a very quick driver from the last season, and you have really shown all the pace that you had. So this is gonna be another very exciting pairing, don't you think, Moto?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say much about myself, but Pepe is, he's taken a hiatus, as you mentioned, and again, you were off the grid, so you probably don't know he's up there on the time, so he's probably
that is expected.
second or third, yeah. That is very quick, probably quicker than me, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting season with them.
So
Can't wait.
people are calling out that this is another OP team, which is, in my opinion, fair play from their side as well. So you guys will be mostly competing with the Alfa Romeo boys. So hopefully you have a good season. Let's see how the season progresses for you guys. But best of luck for
It's
the
the
season.
battle of the alpha males.
Yes, that's the right term that you were looking for there. Battle of the alpha males. But let's move on to the next pairing. The next we have, I think, the last and final pairing that we have for Tier 1 for F1 2022 for this season is the pairing of Black Sheep and the Real SD. Again, I am just waiting for the chat to explode here, telling that this is an OP team, which I think it has already exploded. But anyways, this is another very good team that is being made between Black Sheep and the Real SD. So both of these drivers are here since season 1. No points to say. Black Sheep and SD both are, both are stewards. One is head stewards, one is second to head stewards, one is admin. I wonder who will give the verdict if one of them is in an incident. So that is going to be a good challenging thing. But anyways, this is going to be a very interesting pair to look out for. Black Sheep bringing in the consistency, maybe a bit off, but pace, definitely Black Sheep is something that he has. And the Real SD, he's up there in pace, maybe the top 3 or the top 5, but this man has the consistency. So one guy full on consistency, one guy full on pace. So we'll see what happens when these two mix together. Comments, Moto.
Yeah, probably the best team, best bet to win the WCC because they both are just too. I think they complement well off of each other, as you mentioned. And Black Sheep will learn about consistency from SD, and SD will learn about pace from Black Sheep. So by the end of the season, you might be seeing them winning probably every race. Yeah,
So-
it's going to be interesting.
So I think this is just a speculation. I think what the coordinators have done here is they have gone for 3 OP teams, 3 middle field teams, and 3 sort of towards the end field team. But anything can happen in the season. Last season I was paired with Black Sheep and we could hardly attend any races because life got busy and we didn't had much of a chance on the WCC. So same thing can happen with any of the teams. You can never say about any team being OP during the start of the season. But that's it for the grid reveal today. Moto, I hope you had a fun experience, getting to know your teammate.
Yeah, absolutely, and everyone else as well. A lot of interesting teams, and yeah, can't wait for the new season. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, definitely. And the best part is that you don't have to wait for the new season because we are starting day after tomorrow. That is on Thursday with our Tier X box, followed by Friday with our Tier 2021, followed by Saturday with our Tier 1, and followed by Sunday with our Tier 2. So if you are watching this race, if you're watching this stream, you should definitely tune in day after tomorrow for the race that we are going to have in Tier Xbox. But that's it from me, Moto, and Sai Tarun doing the grid reveal. Hope you all got the seat that you wanted and hope to see you all on track. Meanwhile, if you still have doubts about our community, you will find all the links down in the description to join our community. Do like this video if you are in a team or if you got a seat, and do leave a comment on what do you think about the pairings that have been done and who do you think is going to be the champion, be it WDC or WCC, in the comments down below. But that's it from us. If you are a racing enthusiast, do consider joining us from the links down in the description below. And if you like to race with us in the league that we are having and be a part of it, do consider signing up for the same from the links down in the description, or just join the community. We are there to help you out. But that's it from us. See ya. Tata. Have a good night. Thank you for watching.
Bye.